friends, welcome back. I'm Allison. We're decluttering books. I declutter stuff on my channel, I renovate my house on my channel, do DIYs, share vlogs. I'm very pregnant with baby number 3, and today we're dealing with terrible lighting. Forgive me for that, but we are where the books are, which is in my basement. I have these 2 big bookshelves behind me that are like my books and my husband's books. One day, I dream of having a home library. Isn't that every reader's dream? Is like a whole room dedicated to floor to ceiling, built-in custom bookshelves. That's very low on our priority list and our home renovation stuff. Honestly, I don't even know where in our home I could build that. So this is what we're working with. Love it, making it work. I am really running out of space. There's a little space right there, but you'll see why there's space right there. I need to declutter this, reorganize it, book unhaul, book declutter, book purge. And then once I go through all of my stuff and sort through it, I want to go through my kids' books. I have 2 toddlers who really are into books and reading, and I love that, and it's so good for their development. And I find myself stopping. That's not the word, not stopping. I find myself like rejecting their book requests. Like they'll bring me a book and then I will say no because I personally hate reading that book to them, like a very specific book or something. So I want to go through all of their books. They have probably 100 books. Like, don't worry, they're not going to be depraved of books, but I want to go through and get rid of the books that like I say no to, so I'm more likely to read the books. Some of you on the internet are probably going to be upset about that. A lot of people did not like when I did my kids decluttering video for all their toys. They're like, how could you get rid of your toys for your kids? That's so mean. I'm like, my oldest daughter is 3. Like, I'm in charge. So I'm in charge of the reading list in our house, and if I think it will actually result in us reading more, because you know my 3-year-old can't read. My 1-year-old doesn't know how to read. Like, all of that to say, disclaimers aside, this is a very long-winded intro, but we'll also get to their books, and hopefully the idea behind that is to not just, I'm not worried about having fewer books for them, I'm just worried about getting rid of the books that I don't personally like to read to them, so we read more. More reading in this house is the goal for all of this. Closer look at my bookshelves. These bottom 2 are overflowing. I've got some overflow here, some overflow there. This little cart is all of the books that I have not read. Yes, this is a lot, but I'm making really good progress on this, surprisingly. I also have books in my bedroom. Whoops. We're gonna ignore those books up in my bedroom right now, but these books, it started off at the number like 40, and we're down into the 20s. I think there's like 28-ish total here. So I'm working my way through these. I am on a like partial book buying ban. I have to read 5 books from this selection before I let myself buy any new books. So we're making progress on there. Forgive me for that. But there's definitely books here that I can let go of that I don't love. And besides my lofty goal of owning a home library, my goal for these shelves is to have it be like my favorite books, not just 5-star reads, but books that I would recommend. Like if someone came into my house, saw these shelves and asked, oh, like this book right here, like, did you enjoy Off to the Races? Like, would you recommend it? If I absolutely hated this, I like don't even want that to be something on my shelves. Like, I don't want to have to say like, no, actually that was awful. I didn't like this book at all, which is not true. This book was like, okay. The horse was the best character. If you know, you know. But if there's any book, which I have a couple of, that I read and I just knew it was not for me, I did not enjoy it, I would not recommend it, I don't want it living on my shelf. So that's my kind of litmus test of if it stays or if it goes. We'll see how well I stick to that. And hopefully our local library is gonna get some new books. Okay, this shelf up here, these do not go here. I'm calling this my Europe shelf because I have weird categories, just forgive me. Magnolia Parks, one of my all-time favorite series, not touching that, that baby's staying there. Binding 13, the Boys of Tommen series, really enjoyed the first 4. Number 5 was iffy. I just bought number 6, Releasing 10. I did not finish this. This book, I don't want to get demonetized. It's just trauma. It's way too many details of trauma that I don't want to read about. This book is leaving my collection. I didn't finish reading it. I would not recommend it. I was so excited and then so swiftly disappointed. So this book, goodbye. Spiritual Disciplines for the Christian Life. That is my husband's book. That's going to go somewhere else on these shelves. All of these books, I love. I love a good UK book, a UK author. All of these books are like somewhat, I think they're actually all in the UK, except for Anna and the French Kiss, which happens in France, but one of the main characters is British, so I'm counting that. Next shelf down, I have all my Elle Kennedy books. Love Elle Kennedy, haven't met a book of hers I did not love. And then all my Elsie Silvers, same thing. I love the Chestnut Spring series the most. Flawless, Heartless, Powerless, Reckless, Hopeless. This is her current series, Wild Love, Wild Eyes, Wild Side. Wild Side? not my favorite book. Like, it was, it's a romance, but he's like a WWE wrestler, and it got weird. But for the sake of having the whole series, I am gonna keep that there. And then the book I already talked about, Off to the Races, this is like her first novel ever, I think. It's called the Gold Rush Ranch series. I don't think I'm gonna continue this series. It's her first work, and her later works are much better. And the best character in this book, by far, was the horse. But still gonna keep that. It's not a bad book. It wasn't like Releasing 10 that I just read and talked about that, like, no. That book is just ew. Okay, more romances. I don't think any of these are going. We have Emily Henry, Sarah Adams, Lauren Asher, and Tessa Bailey. I have decluttered a lot of Tessa Bailey books. I can say that out loud. There's definitely a bunch of hers that have just not been floating my boat, but I left It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. I'm gonna leave these behind. I need to reorganize these romance shelves though, because I don't have room to put new romance books. Like down here, more romance, and you can see that we are like overflowing and stacked vertically, which is not my favorite. I'm not like crazy about any of the books on these shelves, but I don't hate them enough to get rid of them, if that makes sense. I know I've like barely gotten rid of any books, but that's gonna be getting the next shelf we will be decluttering from. I wanna go back once I'm done doing my declutter though and reorganize all of these shelves and make room for all of these books. This shelf is my Cassandra Clare shelf, so City of Bones, Mortal Instruments, Shadowhunters, the entire universe in many different editions and forms are all on this shelf, and I love this series. Leaving it be up here. I think I'm going to let go. Where am I getting rid of this? These books don't really belong on this shelf. Ghosts by Dolly Alderton, Malibu Rising. 5-star read, just finished this, obsessed. They don't really go on this shelf. It's more of like my like thriller mysteries. So I have Lucy Foley, Nita Rose, like the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Very different vibe on this shelf. Agatha Christie. I need to find a new home for these, but like I said, running out of room on the romance shelves. I'm going to let go of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is like a really popular young adult book talk book. I hated the ending. The ending stressed me out so much. I'm so angry about how they ended this series, and I also just think it could go to a better home. I'm never going to reread this series. I don't feel attached to it. I don't feel like I want to keep it, so that's going to be in my get rid of pile. These need to go somewhere else. Now, more shelves that need reorganizing. These two, these are like fantasy, young adult fantasy, some sci-fi, and then I don't know what you would count this. It's the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, what do they even call it? A play. So it reads Shakespeare-ish almost, whatever you want to call that. I'm putting that in this category. I am missing my Harry Potter books and half of my Twilight collection. A lot of my books from my younger years are still at my parents' house in Florida, which is good because I don't have room for them here. But also some of my like all-time favorite series are like not on these shelves. But these I need to reorganize because I just feel like I have young adult fantasy mixed in with sci-fi, mixed in with adult fantasy. It just doesn't make sense, and I want them to make sense. But I am going to keep everything going on up here. I enjoyed all these series. This shelf in particular I think is going to see a lot cut from it. Jennifer Lynn Barnes, another popular book talk author, young adult. I'm realizing I'm just aging out of it, which makes sense. You know, I'm 28 years old. These books were not written for me, and they were really fun. The ending of this book just made me so mad. I just really didn't enjoy the end of this series, but the rest of it was really fun. Also, the couple that I wanted to end up together did not end up together, so I'm salty about that. I think I'm gonna hold on to these because the first three and like the plot line was really fun. There were a few things that annoyed me, but not enough that like I hated it. Her main series though, The Inheritance Games, just not for me. None of these books like I'd ever recommend. It just didn't do it for me. I think she's continued writing about these characters in this world, and I think the general consensus online is that they're just not like money grabs, but they got really popular and she's just riding that train and keeping it going much longer or like much farther past it should have in the story. These are going to be going. Okay, let's get ruthless. All of these are like popular book talk books. Young adult, Shadow and Bone series. They're really pretty books. I love them on the shelves. Did not enjoy the story at all. Did not care for them at all. Goodbye. Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom. I'm not like crazy for them, but I enjoyed them enough to like keep them in my collection, and they're like, it's like a cute little set. I'm gonna keep this. Sorcery of Thorns was supposed to be a series, but I don't think it was ever continued. And this book came out in 2019. Also young adult, but I had so much fun with this. She's in an evil library, or she's a librarian for like dangerous books. Very cool, like meta book stuff. Also recently just read Daughter of the Pirate King. Loved this. Definitely want to grab the sequel. The entire Shatter Me series, I have all of it here. They're going. If going into these books, I knew how like this series of 6 came to be, which was originally the author wrote a trilogy, and then they were performing so well, her publisher was like, we should do more, and then so she made a book 4, 5, and 6 spin-off, even though she like completed the series in this. Like, once again, like a popular book, the publishers just pushed along the story a little too far. All of these, I'm not crazy about any of them. They were really popular online. I'm sorry if you love these books. They're just not my thing. Now, the last one that I am a little torn on was The Red Queen. I really loved the idea of this series, but once again, young adult, like they just stretched it out too far to get all of these other books. And I really was like slogging my way through them. Also, this author is very controversial on the internet. So, personal feelings of that aside, I just think that the book covers are really cool. Like I love all of the crowns and stuff. So I kind of want to keep it because they look pretty, but I also didn't recommend or enjoy this reading experience. Would I be sad if I never saw these again? I think I might be sad. No, Allison, let someone else read it. Someone else, someone who is age appropriate for that series would enjoy it. Okay, so cleared off almost all of that shelf. Let's put these up. Okay, we have some room to work there. Let's move over to this shelf. Okay, this is more of a general fiction, historical fiction, memoirs, literary fiction. Like we got our Sally Rooney, Taylor Jenkins Reid. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm getting rid of this book. I read it because I thought it was so impressive and like mature. The elegance of the hedgehog. It was weird. I forced myself to read it to seem cool and mature and adult. I've also damaged it somehow. That's not good. Yikes. Okay. Nonetheless, this book I don't need to keep. Donate. Keep those. Benjamin Ove. Keep. These books, more popular like young adult TikTok books. The Way I Used to Be was a gift, and also like just really traumatic. I think this was good enough to keep, even though it was traumatic. If you had been with me, Say You Swear. Honestly, these were dramatic, like young adult, like drama Wattpad type books, but I think I'm gonna keep them. I enjoyed them. Don't tell anybody that. Getting more into memoirs, I actually love most of my memoirs, even if I don't agree with a lot of the things that people said in the books. We're gonna keep those. See, but then I'm like, does Taylor Jenkins Reid belong in this little series? Because not her books, I wouldn't say are strictly romance books. Like Malibu Rising is like not a romance book. It's like historical fiction, kind of. I guess it is historical, like 1980s for all of these books. We'll add Taylor Jenkins Reid to this shelf somehow. See, and then do I move these dramatic books? I'm gonna move these over to this young adult shelf over here. Even though that doesn't really make sense, I don't have enough young adult books to like, I feel like it makes more sense to keep young adult together. So we'll do Sally Rooney, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm gonna do this. Will this fit? That is the question. Okay, this fits for now, except like the issue is I have another Sally Rooney book on my to be read cart, and like when the time comes to read this book, not gonna fit in this shelf. That's going to be a future Allison problem. Okay, down here on the bottom, I have these 3 little like dime store paperbacks that are gonna go. I don't really know what to do with this stuff. A lot of this is like my husband's books or like Bible studies or things that I just don't have room for. I need like a separate bookshelf. These definitely need the most attention. I don't want to declutter these books, but I definitely don't want them living like in my personal library. We need like another bookshelf somewhere that is like my husband's books, the like pretty table shelf books. We have photo albums in here, but that's just where they have to live for now. Okay, I'm gonna call it on decluttering the shelves though. We went top to bottom. I feel like we got rid of, I'm looking at a fat stack. I'll show you that in a second. But let's go through my TBR cart. I'm filming this video because I think it'll be interesting to watch maybe, but also mostly because I need to declutter these books. Like these shelves have been upsetting me. And as I finish books, I have nowhere to put them back into the shelves. And it's because there's too many. Up here, books. Dune, Lilac Girls, Mysterious, yes. I don't think I'm gonna, maybe I'll get rid of this one. I don't really care about this book. Let's read the first pages. Okay, read the first couple pages. Someone gifted this to me. Not gonna read that. That's okay. I can let that go. These books I want to get read before summer ends. I've had them on my TBR for a very long time, and well, not a very long time, but I've been like saving them for summer, and I'm about to be in only a cozy like fall reading mood. So I want to get these upstairs in my little, like on my nightstand. I keep a small stack of books that are like next up for me, like immediately when I finish a book at 9 o'clock at night, I have the next one on my nightstand waiting for me. These are the last of like my like true summer reads I want to get through. Second shelf has actually emptied out so much it's falling over. That's a good sign. Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. This is actually probably going to annoy some people. I think I'm going to let go of Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. I'm sure it's a lovely book. I'm just not that it's a self-help book, but I'm just not into like the self-reflection books that aren't like Christianity focused. But I just never reach for this. I bought this when I got pregnant with my first daughter, and someone recommended online it being a great parenting book, and I don't care. I've had this sitting here for too long thinking I need to read this. I'm gonna let this go. They're all tucked up there now. An empty shelf, very impressive of me, if I do say so myself. And this is what I'm talking about when I think of the cozy fall reads I'm excited for. I have so many fantasy series to start. Heartless Hunter, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Crescent City 2, I'm currently reading Throne of Glass series, which I've heard is like in the third book in this series. If you've read all of Throne of Glass, there are some like little Easter eggs. So I paused reading this series to go read Throne of Glass, and then I'm going to come back and finish this one. But that's also highly anticipated. Golden Sun is the sequel to Red Rising I want to read. Poppy War I've heard great things about. Just fantasy. Cozy fall time vibes. Outlander. That has an empty shelf. That has not had an empty shelf in so long. That is very impressive, if I do say so myself. So I'm going to be taking these two books upstairs to my nightstand. And then we have all of these books on the ground. Some are hiding in the back. And then these books up here. That's a pretty good unhaul. Declutter, especially for like my favorite hobby that I could just like convince myself to collect. Like I really, I'm still torn on this Red Queen series. Tell me that book cover is not just like very cool. No, it's going. Stop thinking about it. I'm going to bag those up, but now I want to work on shuffling the shelves to fit. Ideally, I would love all my books to just be horizontal and not stacking vertical, but I just don't think that's possible. But we did create a lot of space. We got some space right here for some wiggle room to work with. So let's reorganize all of that. I have almost everything going just horizontal. Over here I did like a stack of memoirs, mostly memoirs, that are horizontal, but it's the only way to make that shelf fit. And I also have room now for like when I read that Sally Rooney book, it can go on that horizontal stack, so there's room. I have room on this shelf now to grow romance books, standalone. All of these are just like single author. Just kidding. I have two, Rebecca Serrell and Abby Jimenez. Oh well, doesn't matter. Romance can expand there. I have a little wiggle room down here in like my young adult section. This shelf also has a little bit of room. I don't love mixing the series or the genres together. So over here I have the Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which is fantasy, romance, young adult. And then it goes over to more just adult romances, but I blended them because it's kind of fantasy, like Halloween vibes, with my Halloween romance books. We're gonna call that like a good transition and a little bit more wiggle room. This shelf, I wanted to have just a Sarah, that's a very weird way to say it, a Sarah J. Maas shelf, because there are 5 more books in this series that I'm currently in the middle of, and I'm definitely not gonna have room on this shelf, but that is a future Allison dilemma to solve. I have a little bit of wiggle room here, oh well. Up here I put all of our fantasy. It's mixed in with adult fantasy, young adult fantasy, sci-fi, and then whatever we're calling this Harry Potter book. And I didn't really touch these shelves over here. My camera battery is flashing at me. It is raining outside. It is very cozy weather. I'm gonna go take a break and go read some books. Actually, no, I need to box up the books on my fireplace before my kids come and play with them and wreck them. I'm probably gonna just take them to my local library because they could always use more books, right? But I'm happy with my books. We have to do the girls' books still, but I'm very happy with how this has turned out. have the downstairs books gathered. We also have books upstairs, and I've taken them out of all of their bedrooms. They're napping. Kids books. We're talking about kids books in case you haven't caught on to that. But I'm gonna go through these. I'm gonna make 3 piles. I'm gonna do a keep pile that like obviously stays out. I'm gonna do a donate pile that is leaving our house. I'm gonna take it to a donation drop off. Done. It's okay. And then there are some books, namely little golden books that my girls love, but their attention span is not at the point where they can sit and read a book with this many words. Like, for example, this is just too wordy for my 3-year-old especially, and she asked me to read these and I always say no because it's frustrating to me. It's a frustrating reading experience for me for these, but they do love them. They're very cute. I'm very excited for one day this to be like a fun thing for them to read with us. But I am going to pull these aside and have a 3rd pile of books I'm just stashing away for right now, because right now they annoy me. And one day, maybe a year from now, maybe it's 3 months from now, some point in time, these won't be so annoying or frustrating to read because attention spans get better. So 3 piles, keep, donate, put away for a later date. Let's get through the books downstairs, go through the books upstairs, and then bag up all my donations and get them out of the house. I'm actually selling a lot of the books I decluttered yesterday. I've got at least half of them, if not 2/3 of them, being picked up or already picked up from Facebook Marketplace. I've completely forgot about that. So I've got $20 sitting under my doormat right now I need to grab, and I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books that I need to bag up and put on my porch for someone to pick up later tonight for like another $100. So never sleep on Facebook Marketplace.